So you're thinking about moving to Miramar Beach, Florida, and you're wondering, what are some things that I need to know? Now, you may have already seen some other videos about specifics about why people want to move here and specific things. Well, this specific one's going to talk more about the weather and why you should really know these things prior to making that decision to coming down here to the beautiful Emerald Coast. So stick around. What's up, everybody? This is Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group right here in beautiful Destin-Fort, Walton Beach in Miramar Beach, Florida. If this is your first time to our channel, we do tons and tons of videos about everything you need to know about our area. Now, as a military veteran of 14 years and now a military spouse, I've moved so many places. So many places. And every time I move somewhere, there was always such a lack of information of where to move to and what to anticipate. That's why we created this channel for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that little bell so you're notified every single time we got a new video coming out. Now, honestly, we get tons of phone calls, emails, texts from people that want to know what it's like to work, eat, sleep, play here in our area, and we absolutely love it. So if you are coming here, got some questions, need some help, give us a call, text, email, heck, choose that little paper airplane. Whatever you got to do, we got you back when moving here to the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area and Miramar Beach. All right, so let's get into it. Why do you want to move here to Miramar Beach? Why are people coming out this way? Well, first things first is that it has a great job market. Thanks to all the tourism. So if you haven't ever been here, or you have, it's probably because you came down here to vacation. Maybe you went to Destin, maybe you're part of the military, drove around, you're like, hey, this is pretty cool. But yeah, the tourism brings in a ton of revenue, and who could blame you? It's kind of the upper end of most of the vacations without getting into the luxury market, which is down in 30A. Fantastic area. It's also great nightlife out in Miramar Beach. You've got Baytown Wharf, tons of different stuff happening all the time. Just a couple of weekends ago, there was a tacos and tequila fest. It was pretty awesome. There's tons and tons of different things that are happening there. You also have Pompano Joe's, which is also there on a public beach access in Miramar Beach. Absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't gone down scenic Highway 98, and you're kind of going down there, you'll go towards Pompano Joe's, but the actual road goes right by the beach. So you can just kind of look out to the right. You see that gorgeous, emerald colored water. It's just breathtaking every time. I've lived here for many, many years, and every time I do that, it still looks over and I'm like, I can't believe I live here. It's absolutely gorgeous. And of course you have the Crab Trap of Destin, which is technically in Destin, but it's like right there on the border between there. Not only that, but people are moving here because the schools are good. Schools are rated B-, but not bad for a beach town. Overall, though, if you look them up on like niche.com or niche.com, depending on where you're from, and you read the reviews from the locals, people absolutely love that area. Just 5-star reviews all around. Now, there are tons of restaurants, and you're going to be close to a lot of the different stores. Of course, you have your Silver Sands premium outlets, tons of shopping opportunities if you want to go out there. There's all different types of restaurants, from Greek food to the Melting Pot to everywhere, You're not far from shopping as well. You do have one of our, there's 2 main grocery stores that we have in our area, which is the Winn-Dixie Publix, and just on the eastern side, which is right next to Miramar Beach, is a Whole Foods in Destin that's out there. And of course, I already mentioned it before, but the beaches, the views of the Gulf, access to everything, that's why people want to move out here. It's just phenomenal. All right, time to get into the weather. The reason that you clicked on here, let's kind of get into it. There are 4 things that I want to convey to you that you need to know about prior to coming here. Number 1 is it isn't Central or South Florida. It's not. It's Northwest Florida. meaning it gets cold. We get all the weather that kind of shifts down from Alabama and Georgia, or things that are coming up off the Gulf. And because of that, we do get these cold fronts that can hit us. When does it get cold? No, I'll just say that it becomes Florida cold between December and March. You're going to see temperatures around averaging about 45, 46 to upwards to 62. That's our warm days here in the winter. Although that seems like it's going to be pretty warm, it feels way colder than it actually says. Why? Because the humidity still doesn't go away, because we're still next to the Gulf. So that humidity is still pretty high. It's above 50% even in the wintertime, and that makes the colder cold. An extreme example of this is prior to getting into real estate, I was in the military. And one of the units I used to fly with, because I was with the C-130 as a flight engineer, is that we would go to Antarctica and resupply like South Pole Station. And we'd also go to the Arctic Circle. One thing that's cool about Antarctica is one of the driest continents. And because of that, you'd go out and it'd be like -20 to -40. And I mean, that's cold, right? But it didn't seem too bad. I was like, maybe I'm just getting used to it. Well, if it comes mid-season, we go to the Arctic Circle, and we're up in a place called Cambridge Bay. And we land there, and the chart says that it's -20. We're like, oh, okay. Step out to just kind of walk through around the airplane and back. Didn't really put on the same, because I'm like, it's only -20. And it came back, my face was beet red. Why? Because it's still humid in the Arctic Circle versus the Antarctic Circle. That humidity made so much a difference. It felt like it was -40. I mean, who can tell the difference at that point? It was so bad. So yes, the humidity makes such a huge difference here when it starts to get cold. All right, number 2, hurricane season is a thing, but it's not as bad as you think. It really isn't. Now, it starts typically June 1st through the end of November. Yeah, that's half the year, it's 6 months, but that's our season, all right? To give you a good example of how often things hit here, I'll give you when the last ones have hit. So the last big one that came through was in 2018. It hit Panama City. It was Hurricane Michael. That was a Category 4, verging out of Cat 5. When it got up to the coast, it was looking like a 2 or 3, and then just boom, just hit and just went up, and it was like 140 sustained knot winds. It was crazy, right? And that did about a lot of damage. But prior to that, it was 2004. And that was Hurricane Ivan. And that hit Pensacola. It was about 105 knots, Category 2, Category 3, and did some pretty good damage around here as well. Prior to that was 1995. So you can see that there are big gaps in times when big ones come through. And that was Hurricane Opal, by the way. But the best case when something does come through is to just be prepared, all right? Usually if it's a Cat 2, Cat 1, people stick around. When it starts to push Cat 3, 4, and above, people are getting out of town. I mean, I would. So, have a plan, what you're gonna do. Prep your house, know how to do that. Have a kit that's either gonna go with you or is gonna help you until power comes back on. It's not that big of a deal, and most of the structures around here are built to sustain those high winds. For an example, most structures will have wind mitigation part of their building where they have hurricane clips that are on the rafters. There's so many nails that need to be in the shingles, things like that, to kind of help to make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to be. All right, number 3, it's hot. And it is hot and it gets humid. And because of that, like the example before, it works on the other end too. You kind of walk out and you're like, this is exhausting. It says that it's 80 degrees out, but it feels like I'm melting. All right, so when are the highest temperatures here in our area? It's typically between June and August, even into September sometimes. But it's 75 to 90 degrees. Humidity at that time of year is the highest. And it's usually somewhere around 70% or higher, which is exhausting. But it does get hot and it does get humid. It's kind of nice when you can dress for it. If you like the heat, then this is the perfect time to be here. All right, last but not least, number 4, it rains a lot. And it rains just randomly. As an example, as of the date of this video is in the beginning of June, and walked out, it was perfectly sunny day. I'm going to go show a home, because I'm a realtor, go in and show a home, and I go to step outside, it's just dumping rain, and I look up and it's clear blue skies. It's like, how's that even possible? Obviously there was a cloud somewhere back behind me that I couldn't see, but just pouring buckets. And then 10 minutes later, it was like it never even happened. So yeah, it does rain quite a bit. We do have a lot. Typically between July and September is where we're going to see the most. And of course, that's in our hurricane season. We get random storms that come up through here that aren't hurricanes. But we average about 6 inches a month. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when it does come down, it comes down pretty quick. It can be random when it does happen, and you'll see, because you'll look at the 7-day forecast, 5-day forecast, whatever they're doing, and you'll see that there's always a chance of thunderstorms. Every single day. You're like, I don't know what that means. So that's basically, just be prepared at any time that it might be pouring rain and 90 degrees, and just be ready for that. So we do have storms, we do have everything. Now those are just kind of the things that are part of living here in Florida, but there's so many great reasons why you should be here. So that's all that I do have for the weather version of the 4 things that you must know prior to moving here to Miramar Beach, Florida. If you have any questions about anything that I mentioned here, please leave them here in the comments below. If you have anything else that you'd like to add, please keep it positive. Go ahead and leave it here in the comments below. And if you are moving here, got some questions, need some help, again, give us a call, text, email, find us on social media. Whatever you got to do, you got your back when moving here to the Emerald Coast, Destin-Fort, Walton Beach, and Miramar Beach area. Again, I'm Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group, here with eXp Realty, and we'll see you in our next video.